Hello my third prep students. Welcome in a new episode of Science تحت رعاية وإشراف وزارة التربية والتعليم. Today we are going to make a general revision on all our syllabus, touring or all the units that we took it before in kind of models exams. تمام? So we are going to make sure together that before start to answer you have to be memorize جدا كل اللي خدناه, study very well and then start to answer with me. Let's start together. First, we are going to start with the questions of the model exams. Number 1, question أولاني بيقول لي complete the following sentences. The instrument which is used to measure the electric potential difference is. Now هنا في الانسترومنت عندنا devices كتير, so we are going to underline what is the property أو the physical quantity اللي هو عايز to measure it, and then I'm going to know the device. So we underline here potential difference, and we know all of us that the potential difference is calculated or measured by device called voltmeter, so the answer is voltmeter. Okay, try to answer alone before I get you the answer. Sodium metal reacts with water producing sodium hydroxide. And what is gas evolved? This kind of question with your pencil and start to make to write the equation. هنا بيقول لي sodium يبقى Na plus water H2O, بيطلع لي sodium hydroxide NaOH. طب which gas released? Okay, نرجع كده للchemical activity series. So we are going to know that the hydrogen gas is released. Excellent. I know that all of you answered. Number 3, the scientist Mendel named the trait that appears in all individuals of the first generation as which trait? هو سمى all the individuals that appears in the first generation سماهم ايه؟ Okay, you know all of you the dominant trait. While the other contrasting trait that appears in the second generation with a percent أقل سماهم recessive trait. والratio كانت كام؟ 3 dominant to 1 recessive. Okay, next question is define the following. Here, أول definition, and I said before, من أهم definition that coming in the exam, the definition of chemical activity series. What's meant by chemical activity series is the arrangement of metal in descending order according to the degree of the chemical activity. لازم تقول هم metals ونوع الارينجمنت ان هو descending, according 3 conditions should be covered in this definition and according to their chemical activity. Electric current. What's meant by electric current? It's the flow of electric charges, and we can write also electrons through a conductor. يبقى it's the flow of electric negative charges or electrons through a conductor. This is the definition of electric current. Next, here I have a problem, and I said before you start to answer any problem, make your margin, get your data, and start to conclude the rule from your margin. Calculate the electric current intensity. So here the intensity is current intensity is unknown. Due to the flow of quantity of electricity 6,000 coulomb. Here I have Q, which is the quantity of electric charges, through a cross section of conductors for 5 minutes, and here I have the time but with minutes. First of all, I have to convert the first minutes to second by 5 times 60 وأكاونت بالsecond. So here I have to put my rule, which is I, electric current intensity, equal Q, quantity divided time. And here I put 5 times 60. Why? To convert the minutes into second. So the answer is 20. And don't forget to write the unit, which is ampere, the unit of measuring electric current intensity. Here is a problem. Next. As you see here, a type of exams بتيجي varieties of questions. Choose, scientific term, give reason, define, problems, all kinds of questions, not only one kind of question. So you have to practice in all this type of questions. Choose the correct answer. From the dominant trait, as I said before in all my lessons before, you start to see the choices, answer it alone, and then your answer will be right. So we're going to choose the right answer that we said it before you see the answers. From the dominant traits in the human being is the which trait. هنا طبعا مش هقدر اجاوب لوحدي لان انا عندي many dominant traits in the human body. As I said, لازم التابل بتاع dominant and recessive you have to know it quite well. Is it straight hair or wide eyes, absence of dimples in the face, presence of freckles in the face. هنبص هنا هنلاقي straight hair وال absence of dimples and presence of freckles, all of them are recessive traits. So the only one dominant traits here is the wide eyes, so I have to choose the wide eyes. So as I said, a table of the dominant and recessive traits either in the human or in the plant, اللي هو البي plant, is very important to know it quite well. Next question. According to the Mendel's second law, here بيكلمني على second law. Each pair of alternative traits, what's meant by alternative? يعني contrasting trait, dominant or recessive, inherited independently of the others and appear in the second generation at a ratio of, بيسألني على ratio. طبعا I know that all of you answer it, but here which one I'm going to choose? Excellent, I will choose number C, which is 3 dominant to 1 recessive. The sliding rheostat, and I know the sliding rheostat have another name, which is the variable resistance. Used to what in the electric circuit? استعملوا إيه? Let's see the choices. To measure the resistance? Never, ever, never to put this choice. To measure the potential difference? No. هو never يستخدم لmeasurement. يبقى كلمة measurement never choose it. يبقى مفيش measurement. طيب. Measure the current intensity? No. So I have only one choice, which is change the resistance. يبقى here في حالة الريستيت never ever choose any kind of devices اللي يقولك measurement. لا مش measurement خالص. هو يا إما control the potential difference and the electric current intensity, or here as you give me another choice which is change the resistance. So I will choose this one. Next question. Choose برضو. Carbon dioxide gas evolved during thermal decomposition of which compound. هديكوا tips صغنطوطة جدا جدا عشان تختاروا بيها very easy، لأن sometimes بتقولوا we confuse between the chemical formulas. مش بنفهم، مش بنعرف، مش عارفين نحفظها. Here look to the question. بيقول لي carbon dioxide gas, underline it. طيب الكربون دايوكسيد gas to evolve during thermal decomposition لازم يطلع من compound ايه؟ في نفس الكومبوننتس في داخل فيه كلمة كربون، يبقى ادور على which one؟ ادور على اي حاجة كربونات، ميتال كربونات. طب الكربونات ده الكيميكال فورمولا بتاعته ايه؟ CO3. طب ليتس كده سي HGO ما ينفعش، CuSO4 no، CuCO3 yes because CO3 هو ده اللي هيطلع لي بعد كده CO2. so I will choose. طب read it. هو اسمه ايه؟ copper carbonate. This is my right choice. The ratio between the potential difference across the two ends of the conductors and the electric current intensity passing through it is equal to A. طبعا ده Ohm's law، وده لما في النهاية بعد ما prove it ده كان ايه؟ equals to A. Is it EMF؟ هو كان بيدور على EMF اللي هي electromotive force or electric current or quantity of electricity or electric resistance. Ohm's law كان الهدف منه ايه؟ بيعمل relation between potential difference and intensity، وبيعمل ما بينهم relation to get what? To get the resistance. So I will choose electric resistance. طيب let's see now two different kind of problems depending on the calculation of electromotive force. Let's go to the board and see how can we solve this type of question together. Let's go. Now let's solve together some kind of problems على series and parallel. Let's start with the first one. First here بيقول لي a battery consists of 3 electric cells وهي means هنا بالelectric cells يعني 3 batteries. The EMF of each one is 3 volt يعني الواحدة قيمتها 3 volt. Calculate the EMF when the cells are connected. Number 1 طالب مني connect the 3 cells in series and write the law used in each case. طبعا هو without mentioning to me write the law I have to write the law عشان من غيره مش هقدر أعرف أحل. طب first of all what is the law to calculate the EMF total EMF in series? I'm going to write the law اللي هي E total which is the E of the 3 batteries equal E1 times N أو N times E1 مش هتفرق. أو sometimes يقولوا لي طب can I write E1 plus E2 plus E3؟ yes يبقى ممكن أقول E1 plus E2 plus E3 أو I can write N times E1. طب how can I calculate it? And I have how many batteries? عندي 3 batteries. And each one how many volt? 3 volt in series. So يبقى ال E total equal 3 which is the number of the batteries time 3 which is the amount of each one ال EMF for the one. So it's 9 و9 ال EMF بتمجر بالإيه؟ بالفولت. تمام؟ طيب what about if I want to calculate the same amount أو EMF but if I connect them in parallel؟ عملت لهم connection in parallel. طب what is the rule أو law؟ هقول هنا E total for the 3 batteries equal E1 قيمة ال E الواحدة. طيب يبقى equal كام هنا؟ equal 3 volt. So here if I connect them series I'm going to count them. If in parallel I get the one only EMF of the one. Which one increasing؟ لو سألني طب which one increasing the EMF? Which connection? Connection in series. Which one decreases? The connection in parallel. طيب another kind of questions at the same type of problems. Calculate the EMF of battery consists of 3 cells. The EMF of each one 1.5 volt when they are connected in series. طب هم دلوقتي عايز each one 1.5 وعندي 3 cells وعايز أجمعهم in series مع بعض. هقول الرو E total the same way equal N time E1. طيب ال N هنا how many cells؟ عندي 3 cells times قيمة ال 1.5 يبقى تطلع 4.5 volt which is the amount in series. طب what about if I connect them together in parallel؟ يبقى E total equal E1 just قيمة الوحدة هت equal كام؟ هشوف الاماونت عندي هنا equal 1.5 volt which is the amount of 1. دي بت increase the amount of EMF and this one the connection decrease the amount of EMF. طب عندي another type of questions نفس الطريقة بس بيقول لي drawing. هنشوف ازاي نعمل drawing which is بتعتبر بالنسبة لكم بتقولوا مش بنعرف نرسم. It's very easy. بيقول لي you have 4 similar cells. At the beginning لازم احدد the number of cells that I'm going to use. يعني هنا هستعمل 4 cells. اوكي؟ وsimilar. What's meant by similar يعني they have the same amount of EMF. ولازم في الكونكشن ده قيمة الباتريز ال EMF تبقى the same. قيمة كل واحدة 1.5 فولت. Illustrate by drawing. What's meant by illustrate يعني show me by drawing how can you connect them أو this batteries together. أول مرة عشان آخد منهم قد إيه EMF عايزة EMF 6 فولت. عايزة آخد من الأربعة دول 6 فولت. طيب لما the amount of each one 1.5 volt when I have 4 cells how can I connect them to get 6 volt؟ يبقى كده أكيد increase يبقى I will use the series. طب let's together show how can I connect them in series. تعالوا نشوف مع بعض. Very easy. First of all you have to concentrate أنا بشتغل إزاي. لو أنا بدأت positive الرد بتاعي بتاع الباتري أجي أول باتري plus and minus. طالما بدأت بالجي هبتدي على طول اكونكت النيجاتيف بول with the positive pole واحط النيجاتيف. And then ادي number 1 ادي number 2 number 3 and number 4. Each one of them I will put plus and minus. Plus and minus represent the two poles of the battery. تمام. وصلت عند الطرف هنا which is I call it negative pole, this part, and here I have a positive pole. طيب هنا if I calculate E plus E plus E plus E أو E time 4 it will be 6. Yes, of course. And the 4 times 1.4 times 1.5 I get okay 6 volt, which is the amount اللي عايزني ارسمها. يبقى here is the drawing in this case. طيب how can I connect the 4 batteries to get 1.5 volt ال EMF total بتاعي؟ يعني دلوقتي انا I decrease the volt, so I will connect them in parallel. هنا دي اسمها series. لو طلب مني اكتب النوع يبقى ده series. طب here I'm going to connect them in parallel connection. Parallel. طب how can I connect them parallel? Very easy. And I have 4. Start كده 2 بالpencil and ruler. Don't use the pencil without ruler to get a very neat drawing. Number 1, I got the positive 1 and beside it I will put the negative 1. ده أول باتري عندي plus and minus. تمام؟ And next one, whatever the count اللي عندي أيا كان العدد. The third one below each other with the pencil and ruler. And then the last one, this is the 4 batteries and I have. So then I'm going to connect them together in the shape of fork. يعني دلوقتي أنا أعمل كده I connect them with a wire. And then كده here my connection and here my connection. طيب كل دول في الآخر هيطلعوا لي هنا plus plus plus. يبقى this part is the positive part. The same as I did here in this positive pole, I will make it in the negative pole. Okay, I make like that كده and I connect my poles together, all the negative pole together, and I get here a negative pole. So I'm going to make it like here. Okay. So I will connect it from this part. Here I get the positive pole in this case and the negative pole of this case. And don't forget to put plus and minus in each one because it's a rule. لازم أحط plus and minus to each one. So how can I calculate them? هنقول ال E هنا total equal E1 هتبقى قيمتها 1.5 volt. Very easy. Whatever number of cell you got ويقول لك عايز قيمة معينة. So you أولا بتفوكس connect it series to increase or parallel to decrease and start to draw it as you see in front of you. Let's complete together the next question. Here we have another type of questions which is what would happen if. And if he said to me what would happen if, هو مش لازم يقول لي why. I have to say why because it's a question. What happens if and why? When a human body exposed to a large dosage of radiation for a short time. لو أنا وقتي قلنا في ال exposure to the radiation عندي if sometimes we exposed to a large dose for a short time or for small dose for a huge أو long time. هنا بيسألني large dose for a short time. اللي بيحصل may leads to damage of قلنا أمراض كتير جدا بتحصل نتيجة الإكسبوجر ده وده اللي حصل لأيام في تشيرنوبل disaster اللي حصلت من الإكسبلوجن بتاع تشيرنوبل reactor. أول حاجة they may leads to bone marrow, spleen, digestive system, central nervous system damage. كل السيستمز دي حصل لها damage. البون مارو, spleen, digestive and central nervous system. Okay? طيب what happens if heating of sodium nitrate؟ تمام؟ طب أنا هنا لو حبيت في الكويستشن اللي فات أقول why. Sometimes إن في facts بتحصل without mentioning why. But here I can say why. Due to the releasing of a large dose أو huge dose of radiation which affect the body of the living organisms. طب what happens if heating a sodium nitrate؟ طبعا ده kind of thermal decomposition. We took it as an equation، وطالما خدته في equation يبقى I have to، لو أنا أعرف أكتب equation I have to write it. Heating sodium nitrate، قلت ده decomposition. أشوف الصوديوم نيتريت ده will decomposes into إيه؟ It will produce a yellowish white substance of sodium nitrite. الأبسط منه هو substance كان الكومباوند كان اسمه nitrate will be decomposes into sodium nitrite which gases evolve oxygen gas evolve. طب here أنا عندي حاجتين مهمين I have to focus. Number one الcolor. Number two I have to write the equation without mentioning. مش لازم يقول لي دي part of the mark I will get it لما بكتبها. يبقى yellowish white substances of sodium nitrite will be formed and I'm going to write the equation. إيه الإيكويشن؟ NaNO3 this is sodium nitrate. By heating I have to put the triangle above the arrow لو ما حطيتوش wrong لأن مش هيحصل thermal decomposition. and يديني NaNO2 which is sodium nitrite and oxygen gas is released. طب لو طلب مني how can you test for the gas evolve؟ ده gas طالع bubble أنا أعرف منين؟ You are going to say I use a glowing splint or a burning match. It will burn more because oxygen helps in burning. What happens if adding silver nitrate solution to sodium chloride solution؟ هنا اتنين compound مع بعض، وأول ما تلاقي يقول لك اتنين compound together قول على طول هما two compounds. هيحصل ايه؟ substitution reaction. بس substitution reaction you have to mention لو في color لو في أي تغير. يبقى a white precipitate اللي هو الcolor ده of silver chloride is formed. طب عندي equation of course and I have a very important equation وانا عارفه شاطر انا عارف الايكويشن كويس جدا I have to write it. يبقى هكتب AgNO3 which is silver nitrate plus sodium chloride NaCl ويعملوا substitution. كل واحد ياخد الراديكال التاني يديني NaNO3 plus AgCl هو ده precipitate that will be formed لونه white precipitate. هنتنقل لكاين تاني من ال questions which is scientific term which is common question طبعا كلكم بتحبوه جدا. A change in the concentration of the reactants and product. أول ما أشوف change concentration على طول هو ما عنديش غير هو حاجة واحدة بس هي by unit time طبعا هي ال speed of reaction. طب sometimes تقول لي ممكن I can write rate of chemical reaction. Yes of course speed of reaction rate of chemical reaction both are right. Reaction between acid and alkali ده very famous definition مهم جدا forming salt and water. ده which reaction is neutralization reaction. مفيش exam ما بيجيش فيه الكويستشن ده either define neutralization reaction or write scientific term or complete or whatever. Very common question. Here the answer is neutralization reaction. Third question, substance which gains an electron or more during chemical reaction. السبستنس اللي بتجين السبستنس مش البروسيس. خلي بالنا هنا بنتسرع جدا جدا ونكتب البروسيس. لا هنا بيقول لي ايه name of the substance that gains اللي بتاخد الالكترون during chemical reaction. I know that you know it. ايه هي؟ طبعا هو الاوكسيدايزنج ايجنت هو اللي بياخد الكيميكال الالكترون during chemical reaction. The breaking down of bond between reactants molecules and formation of new bonds between products is very easy question. This is a chemical reaction which is the name of the unit أساساً بتاعت أول unit. The reaction where double substitution occurs between ions of two compounds. ما يحصل فيه substitution between ions of two compounds. طيب هل ده إيه؟ ده double ولا simple substitution؟ ده of course بيقول لي ions يعني فيه complicated compounds يبقى على طول اقول له double substitution reaction لان double substitution بيحصل between double ions of compounds. A charge is transmitted by a current intensity with 1 ampere in 1 second. ايه اسم التشارج اللي تتنقل من current intensity 1 ampere in 1 second? You know it? Yes of course it's the coulomb. هي ال quantity of electric charges بقول عليها coulomb. So let's move to another kind of question like comparison. والcomparison لازم بيجي لي comparison وعندي a lot of comparison in our syllabus. One of them is very famous one اللي هو compare between direct electric current and alternating electric current. Sometimes you give me a point of comparison يعني concerning to. What's meant by concerning to؟ يعني related مثلا definition only, direction only أو يقول لي compare. يبقى طالما قال لي compare يبقى I have to cover all the points that I know it. هنا I'm going to make the different comparison عشان نراجع كل البوينت. Number one بيقول لي إن direct current it is indirectional and has constant intensity. يعني إيه؟ يعني عنده constant intensity و has no direction. بيتجه في اتجاه واحد بس in one direction. While the alternating current has a variable intensity متغير and can be travel in two opposite direction. طيب what about the second one? الdirect generated أو coming from only the electric cell من الباتريز. Only I can get the direct from the electrochemical cells اللي هي الباتري. But I can get the alternating one from the electric generation من الhuge electric generator. طيب what about الترانسفيرنج؟ الدايركت كارنت اللي هو الدي سي can be transmitted for a long cannot be transmitted for a long distance can be only for a short distance. دي باتري فبالتالي بتنقل الالكتريسيتي for a short distance. But the alternating one can transfer for either long and short distance. يمكن يمشي الاثنين. I can use it for transmission for a short or long distance. طيب اليوزز بتاعت الدايركت current used for electroplating processes. electroplating like الاطلاء ان انا اطلي بيه حاجه. And the other one is used in lighting houses or operating many appliances and many other things in our life. Okay. طيب finally هناخد آخر question عندنا rewrite the following. يعني rewrite يعني correct. بيديني sometimes underline the word و sometimes no underlining. Here بيديني underline word. Mendel's first law is called the law of independent assortment of hereditary. هل الفيرست مندل law كان اسمه كده؟ كان اللي هو independent؟ لا، كان اسمه law of segregation. ده السكند law. It's not the first. عشان كده لازم you have to know اسم اللو as a first or second with the alternative name. الفيرست اسمه ايه والسكند اسمه ايه. Second question, nitrogen pentoxide breaks up into nitrogen dioxide gas and nitrogen gas. طبعا we took this in the airbag. آخر question, the reaction of ionic compound is slower than that of covalent compound. طبعا لا, you know that the ionic compound reaction is faster than the covalent. ليه؟ لأن in case of ionic it happens between ion والion is simple, while in the case of covalent the covalent between molecules, so it's very hard and very speed of reaction will be slow. Thanks very much for your good listening. See you next time and goodbye.